Today's video is going to be a little bit of a continuation of a video I did a couple of weeks ago on what's on my minimalist iPhone, and I got a great response from that video from you guys, and I figured I would just follow it up with just kind of some additional tips and tricks on how to declutter and organize your iPhone. So obviously there's a ton of different things that you can do to declutter and organize your phone, but a lot of us tend to have a let it be mindset and just let them become jam-packed full of apps and pictures and just really cluttered looking and how they end up looking. So I am here today to give you some of the tips and tricks I use to keep my phone simple and streamlined and really at its optimum usability. So I'm going to be sharing those with you today. If we don't know each other yet, my name is Ashlynne though, and I make videos on this channel 2 times a week about minimalism and intentional living. So if you haven't subscribed yet, definitely be sure to do so below. And yeah, let's go ahead and get into this. So why don't we go ahead and start off by talking about my home screen. I keep that and my wallpaper, which I guess you can see right here too, as simple and as streamlined as possible. I do often change them out with the season, but my biggest thing I'm looking for when I'm looking for my background or my wallpaper is really just that it has a lot of white space or blank space, so that especially when you're on the home screen you can see the apps. That's really important to me because I feel like if you've got a picture or a pattern or anything like that kind of taking up the entire background, it just visually clutters the space a lot, and it can be difficult to just kind of see what's going on. So I feel like especially with the way that mine is organized, you can see there's like this really nice area where it's got like the mountains and whatever at the very bottom half, and I like trying to have like the majority of the design on the bottom half so that you can see the apps on the top half. It doesn't quite matter as much when it comes to the lock screen, but I still try to go for something that's very simple and just visually clean. So why don't we go ahead and talk about how I organize the front page of the apps. So specifically, I think it's really good, you know, whether or not you choose to have 1 page of apps or 2. I have 2 because I prefer it that way. So I would really try to make the apps that you want to make a priority or the ones that you use the most on your home screen. So for example, I keep health because I'm trying to, you know, make sure that I'm staying active. I keep health on the front page of my home screen because I want to make sure that I'm keeping myself accountable to being, you know, fairly active. You know, also some of the things that I use most frequently, I'm always checking the weather, because who doesn't use their phone as the main way that they check the weather these days? I know I definitely do. But yeah, as you guys can see, like I use that all the time. Wow, we don't have great weather coming up, but that's okay. So yeah, the other thing that I've done here is I've really arranged these in clusters on this front page. So I've got the MyFitnessPal and the health, that's reminding me to drink enough water and to make sure that I'm, you know, being active. I use messages and Instagram, which I use for staying in contact with friends and family. I mean, I use Instagram quite a bit. I really enjoy it, but yeah, so that one's friends and family, and also just because I really enjoy Instagram. We have weather and reminders. I don't know why I feel like they should be grouped together. I guess because they're just kind of like the essentials. For me, I use reminders all the time to help me remember to water my plants, pay our credit card, things like that. I will set reminders on my phone just to make sure that if there's something important that I need to remember, you know, I'll do that and have an alarm go off whenever I need to do whatever it is. I have Evernote and Notes like paired together. So that's kind of, I think, I don't need to go into why each of them are paired together, but you can kind of see I've got like Evernote and Notes. Both of them are like note-taking planning apps, calendar and clock. Once again, you know, very, very related. So they're just kind of like put together in clusters, and I feel like that's really helpful if you're trying to organize your phone, is to cluster things together that should be placed together. At the very bottom, obviously I have my very most used apps. So I've got my phone, Safari, you know, Spotify, and my mail app. Those ones are all pretty self-explanatory. I do have Apple Music because I use it to put audiobooks that I own on, but I definitely use Spotify more regularly for listening to music. So let's talk about short-term apps because we all definitely have these and they're really useful for a period of time, but they might not need to stay on our phone permanently. So right now I have the Amtrak app downloaded on my phone because I just went on the train and so I needed my ticket. But my policy with that kind of thing is really like I'll download it for the time that I need it, so when I was buying my phone and when I needed my ticket. But then after that, I'll feel free to delete the app. So I think that this is a really helpful kind of policy for, I mean, honestly, just everything. Is really, have you used it in the past 30 days? Will you use it in the next 30 days? If you haven't, I always lean towards deleting it. If there's something specifically I'm looking for, like there's a pair of earrings that I'm thinking of purchasing on Etsy, I'll keep the link out, or I'll keep the app on my phone just until I've made my decision. And then after that, I'll go ahead and delete the app. I still haven't made my decision, so I'm not going to do that. And then yeah, after that, it really goes down to evaluating like what you use on a regular basis. So like this, you know, this social media one for me, I know that my job is digital marketing, and so I will use all of those on a regular basis. Same thing with these photo ones. While I do have that top row of the Canon camera, Visco, and Snapseed, those are the apps that I use all the time. I do sometimes try out apps as well, and I'll leave them on there for a period of time. If I feel like I'm getting enough use out of them, and enough use for me usually means I'm using them at least a couple of times a week, you know, then I'll keep them on my phone. And if I feel like I'm, you know, not getting value from them, then I'll go ahead and delete them. So same thing with Trello. That was something that I decided to do as, you know, trying out a kind of another online planning system, and I tried it out. Honestly, at this point, I've had it on my phone for close to 2 weeks now, so we can go ahead and delete that. I feel like Evernote and Notes, that combination, I've preferred to Trello, so there's that. So that's really what it had, you know, the main bulk of like how I organize really just has to do with how often I use it and can I cluster things together. Oftentimes if it's like two things that are related, so my, you know, banking apps or my notes apps or, you know, camera and photos, then I'll go ahead and leave those separate. But if it's something like this social one where there are, you know, obviously a ton of different platforms that I need to have access to, then I'll go ahead and group them in a folder. And then as you guys can see, I've got a media folder where I can listen to podcasts, Bible, and then my bookshelf. Honestly, now that I think about it, I think I should probably put Apple Music there because I use that to listen to audiobooks. Here, let's do this right here. Yeah, that's accurate. So yeah, I've got like a media one. This one is a miscellaneous one. It just kind of contains things that don't really belong anywhere else. That's kind of how the basic, you know, grouping goes. There's one for photos. This can really be customized to whatever you want, but my general suggestion would be if you have 3 to 4 items that are all related that you want to have on your phone, go ahead and just group them in a folder. Other than that, I would try to just kind of, you know, keep them all out. And then, yeah, obviously this could easily all fit onto just my homepage, but I really enjoy having that 2-page layout because I like being able to have like we talked about before, white space and just empty space between where, you know, my apps are and then where the picture is. I feel like you could do like just one page if you wanted to, but I definitely prefer visually having the extra white space of having, you know, the pretty background or whatever. So I think we've talked about pretty much everything in terms of like the surface of it goes. Let's just really briefly talk about this pop-up screen because you definitely can customize this. Obviously there are some things that you can't customize, like the lock screen, the do not disturb, all that stuff is going to be on, but you'll see there's this bottom row right here where you've got, right now I've got my low battery mode, my camera, and my flashlight. You can customize that and have it as a lot of different things, so all you need to do to customize that is go to Control Center, customize controls, and you can literally see like I've got these right here, but you can find, you know, have a shortcut to your alarm, Apple TV, calculator, you know, stopwatch, timer, wallet, whatever. So if you figure out what you use most regularly, and then I would really consider just going ahead and putting those in that bottom row right there so that you can customize it. As you guys can see, I'm listening to Harry Potter right now, so that's what Apple Music is on my phone for. That is how I organize my phone, kind of the mindset questions that I ask myself and ways that I organize what's on my phone so that I can get the best use out of it without having any apps that aren't serving a purpose in my life. So yeah, I hope that you found this helpful, and if you have any tips or tricks on how you organize your phone, I would love to hear about them. So definitely let me know about them in the comments below. Remember to subscribe today if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next video.